Namu Collective is a family-run business, and we're here to make change in the community. The name Namu is after my grandfather. This journey actually began when my grandfather first moved here, Namu. He moved here from the Torres Strait. He was elder statesman of the Townsville community, and he was like the backbone of the Torres Strait Island community.
When, families would migrate from the Torres Straits and they would migrate to the mainland, they'd go to Cairns or Townsville. And when they come to Townsville, the first point of contact would be my great-grandfather, and my great-grandfather would sit with the families. It was that point of contact for families to come down and meet with him to sort of transition here on mainland. And that was sort of gave him that leadership qualities and why a lot of families looked up to him back in the day. And then in turn, passed that down to my grandmother. She was a public servant for Queensland Health for decades. When she wasn't checking your health, she was down at, at the family functions or at the weddings or tombstone openings. For families, she was the knowledge holder of families, of family bloodlines.
She was a leader, she was a strong woman, cultural woman, she was that cultural matriarch. And again, it filtered down to Dad. Dad was a mirror image of that. Very strong-minded, very strong-willed, strong cultural man, strong community man.
No matter what my father did, he was always in the good interests of the community, the people. He was working in many different roles. In Aboriginal Torres Strait Islander organisations, he was working with non-Indigenous organisations. He was at Lifeline, Past Australia, Act for Kids. So he was always working with youth. The main role when I was younger was in Cleveland Youth Detention Centre.
I worked almost 2 decades at Cleveland Youth Detention Centre. I saw a lot of the young people getting released and coming back in. And many conversations over those years that I had with the young people was there was no support in the community. I resigned from Cleveland and I went to pick up preventative work in the community. I find myself being blessed in my own journey, working with young people, and for many years, working in different positions. I actually made it my business to find out how that works and how do I support young people.
I had amazing role models in my parents, my brother. Having that opportunity with myself, I wanted to give that back to the young people. That's why I spent 6 years in education. A lot of these young people, they were lost. When I'd go and do house visits, I would see, the environment they would come from, and I would see that lack of mentorship or lack of role models. That sort of gave me the drive to sort of become that mentor.
In terms of my pathway and trajectory, I kind of wanted to work in the space of community, in the space of working alongside young people. I moved into program development, developing cultural programs, going into schools, preschools right through to high schools, developing and delivering cultural programs, specifically around Torres Strait culture.
What they do in the community in terms of culture, it just warms my heart, and Trudy and I, proud is an understatement. We absolutely love the work that they do.
I'm very proud of my husband and my boys, the journey that my husband has been on, because his journey feeds back into our boys, their journey coming through.
I don't think we give our wives enough credit.
She is the backbone of our family. She is the glue that holds us together. She was the one that taught us about kindness and being kind, being considerate. She was the one that gave us a heart.
For me, working with my family, especially my 2 sons, and my wife being the spine or the backbone to keep us all in check, it's an absolutely amazing experience. And in this journey with Namu Collective, it's how do I build this framework for my children to then, for me to stand back. I'm old school, my kids are current, hence the reason to create this family structure where the 2 sons can carry this legacy forward.
We want to leave something behind, and what that something is we want to leave our young people and our families empowered.
We hope to make a difference with the youth crime that's been happening here in Townsville. We want to make a difference within the youth crime space and helping our young people be successful and not turn to crime or other things like that. Create pathways for young people, give them the skills and opportunities to empower themselves, and in turn they can come back and support their families, and we hope that will create a domino effect.
The Staying on Track program is an initiative that was brought out by the Christopher government to help reduce reoffending rates in the youth crime space. Namu Collective, our family organisation, put through to tender to get the funding grant, and we were successful.
It's about stopping the continual process where a young offender leaves prison only to find themselves back there, and then so the revolving door continues. What's happened in Queensland over a long period of time has been next to no rehabilitation. In fact, only the serious repeat offenders got 72 hours at the most. What this is a dedicated program, a minimum of 12 months with 6 months intensive support for every single person who leaves youth justice.
I remember 25 years ago working at Cleveland, there was a gap with a wraparound support outside of Cleveland. So I actually resigned from Cleveland to follow this work up in the community. And as you can see, 25 years on, we've been given an opportunity now to do what we do best. What I've seen in my experience working with young people over time is this is a learnt behaviour. There's a lot of breakdowns in families, and that might be due to alcohol abuse, or it might be due to family and domestic violence. And I think what leaves Namu Collective really best placed in a position like this is that we come with that experience. The staff of Namu Collective have at some point in their life been, a witness to alcohol abuse and all of those sorts of issues. So unless you understand the dynamics in the landscape, it's difficult to try and engage the community. And there's all sorts of cultural protocols and cultural safety issues that turn up, especially when you're coming into an Indigenous, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Island community space, and everything is based on trust.
Our team is very specific in terms of they've been hand selected. We're looking for a strong community foundation, strong cultural foundation, but more importantly, they're people's people. They can connect with our young people. They're nurturing, they're caring, they're loving, all of these little traits that our young people actually don't probably experience within their own family groups and households. We hear the conversation happen in community about our young people being lost. Okay, well, how do we help them get back to where they need to be? And for us, the belief is through culture, because we've seen the power in culture in our own upbringing, but in our own spaces too, we've seen the power of culture and how it can change someone's life, how it can change a family.
We come from a line of warriors, we come from a line of strong women warriors, men warriors, When none of this stuff you see on TikTok, gangsters and all that, that's not us. We know where we come from. We got strong bloodlines, and the blood that runs in our veins, that means something.